Hey y'all, how y'all doing? This is Amanda with Tap Mama of the Bake Brigade. Hope everybody's having a good Friday night. This is Vlogtember day 1, and so I'm going to tell you about my day. So I got up this afternoon because, of course, I didn't go to bed till 5 a.m. That's par for the course with me. Those of you that know me know that. I'm a night owl. I'm a notorious night owl. 5 a.m. is usually, that's pretty extreme for me. Usually it's about between 3 and 4. But, you know, it just happens sometimes. I just end up staying up so late. But I got up and pulled myself together and got Johnny together, and we went to grocery shopping. Because it's the 1st, and that's when we get paid, and that's when our little Medicare Advantage cards that we get money on for groceries and stuff, that's when those get recharged with money. He gets so much and I get so much. We had 2 different cards, so we use his at the 1st of the month, excuse me, and then we use mine later on. And so and of course we needed dog food and everything. The fridge was looking like a desert. But of course we made it through the grocery store. There wasn't a riding cart to be found because people that didn't need them were riding them. There was a young man riding one, talking on his cell phone, going back and forth in front of the registers. I wanted to yank that cell phone out of his hand and smack him over the head with it. I didn't do that, of course, because I didn't want to go to jail. For one, the strong feeling of not wanting to go to jail prevented me from doing that, and it's not in my nature to hit people, especially not people that I'm not kin to. Strawberry water. We finally got some strawberry water at the store, but and I made sure to stock up. Got as many as I possibly could. That's most of what we had in our cart was those waters. But then we got some vegetables and some meats and other things, you know, as you do. Some fruits for dessert. Johnny got grapes. I got peaches. And those of you may not know that peach is one of my favorite as far as fruits go. But I'm a little bit of a peach snob. If it's not soft enough, I will not buy it. And I don't like white peaches. I like yellow peaches. Yeah, it's a thing. But we're in the checkout, right? Me and Johnny, we got our stuff up on the belt and everything. And the next thing you know, this big commotion happens, and we start hearing these women. I'm assuming women that sounded like women to me, because we couldn't see them from where we were. We could only hear them. And they were screaming back and forth. And of course, some 4-letter words were exchanged. And, you know, community guidelines, I can't say those words. Plus, it's a Christian channel. I'm not going to talk like that. But yeah, they were, it was pretty heated. And our little cashier, she was a little concerned because she thought she heard one of her coworkers, whom is pregnant. She thought that she was part of that. Go on, lay down. She thought she was part of the fray, and so she kind of went over there and looked to see if her pregnant coworker was involved in it. And then when she was satisfied that she wasn't part of it, she came back and continued to ring us up, because I think she only went over there because her coworker is pregnant, and she was worried that maybe she was going to get in a physical altercation, causing her, you know, harm to her and her unborn. But which I was totally fine with. You know, of course, go check on the pregnant mother. But you know, but then of course I'm like, because there's always a police officer in the Walmart, because Shreveport, unfortunately, is not the safest place in the world. People like to settle their arguments with guns. I don't understand. I guess they think it's the Wild West again somehow. You know, where folks just get into an argument and meet in the street and go, you know. It's not the Wild West, people. Settle your arguments with words, not guns. Safer, because everybody walks away that way. But here lately in the news, every time I open Facebook or open up the app for the local news, so-and-so was shot, so-and-so was shot, left in their car, shot dead, this and that and the other. It's really sad, y'all. So people wonder why me and Johnny stay home a lot. That's exactly why. And of course, Eva, bless, thank the good Lord up above that Eva and her husband live in the sticks. Because when we go to visit them, we don't have to worry about it being in the city. They live in the sticks. Thank the good Lord for that. So when we're going to do social events, we're leaving the city and going to the sticks. and the scenery on the back roads to get there is beautiful. So it's a nice drive. I don't mind it. It's a nice drive. But I don't. The police finally went over there and dealt with whatever the situation was and calmed it down. I don't know if those ladies or whoever it was that was exchanging words very loudly that the whole front end of the store heard. They heard the commotion. No one really, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't trying to hear what they were saying. But everyone in the front of the store could hear that there was a commotion because it was just that loud. And yeah. So it's crazy. Just crazy. And the killer part is, before me and Johnny even left to go to the store, one of our neighbors down here, like, I was getting ready to go to the store, and I said, well, let me pop out of the front door and go check the mail. Well, the mail is right outside the door. Well, while I was outside, I heard one of our neighbors that's kind of like across the road and down like 3 houses was going off. Just the same as the people at the store. But she was just like, and F word this and F word that, and she was just really losing her, she was on one. And I was like, somebody done made this lady mad. And I'm assuming lady, it had a lady-like sound, kind of a girly voice, but it was loud. I mean, they were across the road and 3 houses over, and I heard her as if she was standing in front of me. So, yeah. So she was pretty loud. And I was being nosy, of course, because, well, my life is fairly boring here in the house. I can sell tickets to that. You know what I mean? Joke. I even joked about that in line while I was at Walmart. Oh, we should sell tickets to this. Because I was just trying to, break up the concern, because we were all kind of standing there worried that maybe it might go to, if someone was armed, being at Shreveport and people, the prevalence of gun use, we were, I think, at least in the back of some of our minds, we're a little concerned that it could turn to violence and guns. At least, so I was trying to kind of lighten the mood a little bit and crack a few jokes to kind of, maybe, I don't know, lighten things up a little bit to where everybody wasn't so stressed. It wasn't stressing everybody out so much, because there wasn't anything we could do about it. The only people that could do really anything about it was the people that were in the middle of it, and the police that went over there and put a stop to it. So I'm just glad that it didn't turn violent and that no one was hurt. So, but then whoever was down there and doing that yelling, I listened to it for a couple of minutes while I was outside, and then I came back in and finished getting myself together and got Johnny together. And then when we were leaving to go to the grocery store, the police was over there. And I didn't call the police because it wasn't none of my business. Wasn't nobody beating on nobody. It was just someone yelling. Why am I calling the police if someone's yelling? She wasn't, because I could see her. She was just waving her arms and gesturing, but she didn't have nobody in a headlock, or, she wasn't, nothing like that. So why am I calling the police over someone that's going off on somebody? They're not hurting anybody. So that's not my business to get involved, Why would I do that to somebody? But when we went to leave, there was a policeman over there. And I was like, I guess somebody decided it was police worthy. And so they were over there dealing with things. And So there was drama outside my house. There was drama at the Walmart. Hopefully no one blames me since it's it's in my immediate vicinity here. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's just one of those days where it was drama, drama, drama. And it had nothing to do with me. I'm just glad it appears that nobody was hurt. And it was just a little bit of comical that grown people in the middle of Walmart decided to have a shouting match. And then, this lady down here had herself a meltdown. And somebody called the police. So, it is what it is. But, and then a little while ago, I got a call from my Uncle John. Yeah, I named my son after my uncle, by the way. His name is John Thomas too. Even though he has my maiden name, which is Cobb. And my uncle lives in a little bitty town in Tennessee called Selmer. And last year sometime, he had a stroke. My uncle's about 65. And his speech was affected during this stroke. And my uncle's a Christian man and a very good man. Very good man. Never been in any kind of trouble before in his life. Just a very straight-laced, never even had alcohol in his... just like the most straight-laced and wonderful person you could ever hope to meet in your life. And it was really hard to hear him struggle for words because his speech is not returned to where it was before his stroke, and I guess he's still struggling with that. But me being his family, I understood what he was saying. And it was just hard because he and I, when I was growing up, he was always my favorite uncle, and he and I were very close when I was a kid. And he would come down for 2 weeks before he was married. He was married for a long time and then got divorced some years back. And before he was married, and when I was younger, they got married when I was like 15. And so before that, he would come down for every summer for 2 weeks. And it was just me and him. We'd go to the movies. Sometimes he'd come down on his motorcycle, and we would ride around on the back of his motorcycle. We'd go see some movies. We'd go, eat, and just me and him. And he was kind of a dad I wish that I'd had kind of situation. He filled that role without really trying to, just what everything you could possibly want in an uncle. He was that. He's my mother's brother, my mother's middle brother, because there was an Uncle Carl who was the baby, and he passed away in 2016. And then I have an older uncle, Uncle James, who lives in Florida, and we're not in touch. He thinks he's above everybody. It's a long story, but we don't speak to Uncle James. I've never even met Uncle James, not since I was 4 years old anyway, and I don't remember him. But Uncle John has always been there for me, and so apparently recently, and I talked about this in the Facebook general chat. Apparently, one of his lady friends, a lady he considered his friend, and just his friend, had fallen on some hard times, and he helped her buy some groceries. And she swore up now that she would pay him back because he had just started a new job, and she would pay him back $20 a week until she got him paid back for the groceries. And because he's not made out of money, he still works a job, and so he don't have much as far as money goes. And so he was kind of looking forward to being paid back, even in $20 increments. And but she didn't do that. She completely ghosted him, and he had never been ghosted before. He'd had situations where people had loaned him money before, and as soon as he had it, he paid them right back. So he'd been the person who had been loaned the money before, and it went and paid the person right back before. And so when the situation was reversed, he didn't quite understand why she did that. That just, from his perspective, that didn't make sense. That she would just completely just go away and not return his calls, not, just completely, disappear. And he was just, he had posted something on Facebook, something about lending money to friends or something like that, and I had responded to it. And so he was on a work break and called me, and it was still on his mind and still bothering him, and so he wanted to talk about that. And then he wanted to make sure that, in case he forgot to call back on Will's birthday, he wanted to make sure that he wished Will a happy birthday. And in case he forgot, because he's apparently getting forgetful too. So, he was trying to say that at the end of the conversation, but his words couldn't quite meet and form that particular sentence. And I said, don't worry, I'll let Will know in case we don't hear from you between now and his birthday that you wish him happy birthday. He said, oh, okay, thank you, because that's what he was trying to say, but he just couldn't quite get there. But me being his family, I understood what he was saying. Just like I can understand when someone has someone writes like in cursive on cards and stuff, and if their handwriting's a little, bad. Like I have really bad handwriting, so I can relate. I can read it where some people can't. When I was growing up, me and my grandmother my mother's mother, used to exchange letters. Yeah, old snail mail all the time through a lot of my childhood and into my teen years. She and I would exchange letters, and she had the worst handwriting, and it was really bad. And the older she got, the worse it got. And so I had learned over the years how to decipher what she was trying to say. And once you've learned how to decipher bad handwriting, other people's handwriting is not difficult for you to interpret. You figure things out. Even like if someone misspells a word or just sort of says something, I can usually figure out what they're trying to say, because I can just interpret things, because once you've read letter after letter of bad handwriting and general terminology of what someone's trying to say to you, you just automatically can put things together, from what people are trying to say. It just makes you very intuitive. It does. It makes you very intuitive, because I just learned how to be very intuitive as far as people's handwriting or people's misspelled words. It's just something that I've always been that way, because of Grandma, because she always had the worst handwriting. And but I never said anything to her about it, because what is she gonna do, take a handwriting class in her 50s? No. You're not gonna do that. Oh, Granny, could you do something about your handwriting? No. I was just glad to get the letters from her. Glad to hear from her, because long distance calling was so expensive. It was easier to put a stamp on an envelope and write to her. It was just, I just cherished that I had that growing up. That no matter what was going on, that I could just, send a letter to her, And I was real close with her. She was my heart, Anyway. But, a whole lot of family stuff. But, this is a heck of a vlog episode for y'all. But I've been working on this. I worked on this. I'm still kind of up in the air about these colors together, but I'm really enjoying this yarn. I don't know what. I've had some Karen Simply Soft in my cubes. I bought some last year. I bought a few colors, in it last year, and I just, you know, put them up. And then I've got some Eversoft that Cheryl gave me, and I worked with it a little bit on and off, and as accents to different things. And then I made a hat last year with some pink in the Eversoft, and but you know, but I hadn't really worked with the Karen Simply Soft, even though I'd been told, you know, well, you're going to enjoy working with that, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I have really enjoyed this. Last night I worked with this a bit, and so I'm just going to keep going with it. I've got a couple of emails about sweaters, and so one I'm going to get started on probably Monday, Sunday or Monday. I'll start on a different one, but I'm gonna work on this tonight, and then tomorrow I'm going to Eva's, and then we're going to do some going to micheals and stuff. I got her some yarn put together. Can't wait to see her face. Anyway, anyway, but I guess I'll let y'all go for now. I hope y'all are having a good night, and please remember that I love you, and so does Jesus. And please remember to adopt, don't shop. Your best friend's waiting for you at the shelter or the rescue. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye now.